Welcome, everyone, to this One Piece analysis. Today, we'll be diving deep into Chapter 1156, a chapter long anticipated by the fan community, as it unveils the turbulent history of the pirate world. The preview opens with a provocative question: fate is tightly gripping Elbaf, but what about Harrow and Loki? This isn't just a customary remark, it's a clear signal that the destinies of several key characters are about to undergo a critical turning point. And as predicted, Chapter 1156 takes us back to the event of God Valley, a moment when history took an entirely different course. Before this chapter, Chapter 1155 had already revealed the initial steps taken by Rox D. Xebec in building a massive pirate force. Many have asked, is Chapter 1156 the final chapter for what was once considered the most terrifying organization in the world? And if that's the case, then this may be the chapter that recreates the God Valley incident, one of the bloodiest and most pivotal events in One Piece history. Readers have longed to witness the greatest battle since the Void Century, a battle where not only the two strongest pirate crews in the world appear at the same time, but where the Navy's elite and the Holy Knights also enter the fray. A full-scale clash between four great powers, setting off consequences that would echo through the decades. Though Rox D. Xebec is already dead, it's clear that he was never just a villain from the past. Through the past two chapters, readers can clearly see that Rox was a true legend, the greatest rival in the life of the Pirate King, Gold Roger. And more than just a rival, Rox was a visionary with immense strategic foresight. He executed a near-impossible plan. First, he deceived the world government into giving him funds, then used that money to bribe and seize control of Hakanosu, considered the world's criminal stronghold. The first thing he did after gaining control of Hakanosu was declare war on the Navy, the force known as the Sword protecting the government. His goal was to destroy Marineford, then march straight toward Mary Geos, the heart of Celestial Dragon Authority. According to Rox's logic, if the Navy were to fall, the Holy Land would no longer have any meaningful defense. Rox D. Xebec was not the only powerful figure behind this insane plan. He had an entire army of pirates, composed of some of the most formidable names of the era: Edward Newgate, who would later become Whitebeard; Shiki, the Golden Lion; Charlotte Lin Lin, known as Big Mom in her youth, and many other monstrous individuals. Rox once killed a Marine admiral, and with allies of such caliber, he believed he had the power to overthrow the entire world. It is highly likely that the sheer rise in danger posed by the Rox pirates forced the world government to shift its policies. Specifically, the establishment of the Seven Warlords of the Sea, Shichibukai, as a counterbalance to pirate power. They were willing to compromise their own moral principles to prevent another war on the scale of God Valley. The world government couldn't afford to constantly deploy the Holy Knights, their last line of defense for Mary Geos. Every deployment was a gamble. As a result, they needed to rely on a force that was strong, yet unstable: pirates.
졸디 라저 원스 세드 온니 파이러츠 캠파이 파이러츠.
And the government, though never admitting it openly, silently agreed with that sentiment. Chapter 1156 officially begins with the scene of Rox's ship arriving at Hakanosu. Pirate crews occupying the island try to resist, but they are swiftly crushed. Shiki, using the power of the Fuwa no Mi, levitates an entire fleet of enemy warships and slams them down, crushing his foes. He laughs maniacally at the chaotic screams. Then comes Edward Newgate, unleashing a quake-infused slash that shatters the entire port. With just two moves from these monsters, Hakanosu completely falls. The Rox pirates officially seize the pirate haven. A fierce battle unfolds, destroying many structures, and ends with all criminals on the island surrendering. At the skull-shaped castle in the heart of the island, Rox D. Xebec sits on his throne, surrounded by his most trusted lieutenants. Before them are the captured leaders of various pirate gangs. Rox declares, if they don't want to be wiped out, they must swear loyalty to him. In return, they will gain treasure, freedom, and no longer have to fear the Navy, because Rox intends to destroy the entire world government. To prove he's not bluffing, he opens a vault to reveal a massive treasure hoard, much of it celestial gold, some stolen from the government, and the rest looted from taking over Hakanosu. The sight leaves the criminals awestruck and convinced. Rox then moves to the second phase of his plan, spreading rumors of a massive treasure to lure in gold-hungry pirates. Some big names start to appear: Charlotte Lin Lin, Strusen, and even a crew led by the pirate queen Gloriosa. Gloriosa playfully taunts, "I'm not choosing between who's prettier, me or Stussy. I'm choosing both." That day, nearly all of the world's most notorious pirates gathered at Hakanosu, except for the Raja pirates. A special panel shows the global reaction. Fleet Admiral Kong slams the table in fury as he reads the newspaper, while the young trio Sengoku, GARP, and Tsuru discuss the unfolding situation. Aboard his old ship, Roger holds the paper and bursts into laughter. When Silver's Rayleigh asks why, Roger simply replies, "That guy just pulled one hell of a trick on the world government." Rayleigh is surprised. "Don't tell me you're planning to go there?"
라저 저스트 스마일즈.
The scene shifts to Elbaf. Harrow and Loki are equally shocked to hear that Rox dared to challenge the entire world. Loki, boiling with excitement, wants to set sail immediately but is held back. This is the first time Loki reveals his absolute admiration for Rox, a moment that would heavily shape the future path of the Elbaf prince. Nearly 2 years later, the Rox pirates have expanded their influence. They begin hijacking tribute ships headed for Mary GEOISE. A secret message from Jenny reveals that a rare treasure is hidden on God Valley, including a particularly special devil fruit. Rox calls for a full mobilization. Despite years of conquest, he has yet to consume any devil fruit. When asked why, Rox simply says, "I'm looking for the fruit that will make my enemies fear me most." A scene follows where he sits in a grand chamber, eyes gleaming. There's no doubt now, Rox is after the Hito Hito no Mi model. A stunning double spread reveals the entirety of God Valley, where all the major forces converge. The Rox pirates, the Raja pirates, the Holy Knights led by Figureland Garling, and the Marines commanded by GARP. Sat warns that the island will be annihilated, but no one holds back. Roger is blown away by a powerful sword slash from Rox. GARP charges into the fray, while Gaban slips through the chaos, following a faint cry he hears. Gaban finds the treasure and escapes using Jeppo, moonwalk. Just as the ship sets sail, a massive beam of light crashes down from above.
온 더 배틀필드, 락스디 지백 라이즈 모셜러스, 더 락스 파이러츠 디스밴드, 더 가드밸리 배틀 엔즈즈, 뉴스 스프레드 어크라스 더 월드.
Many slaves were freed, while many others perished along with the island that had vanished.
로키 웨프트 언컨트롤러블리, 바우잉 리벤지.
Harrow, on the other hand, stood in solemn silence, sensing that the world had changed forever. The Revolutionary Army was born, and underground powers began to rise. Sometime later, Roger and his crew reached the final island, claiming the title of Pirate King. Meanwhile, Harrow was on his way back to Elbaf after a long expedition. He tried to find Roger to ask about Elbaf's true history but was too late. Roger had already disbanded his crew. The Oro Jackson drifted toward Elbaf. Aboard was Skopper Gaban, the navigator of the Raja pirates, entrusted with escorting the crew members to their places of seclusion. The villagers recognized him, and word quickly reached Harrow. The two met and spoke at great length. No one ever knew what was said between them. After that, Gaban was permitted to stay in Elbaf. 1 year later, Gaban told the story of the O'Hara incident. He returned with a group of warriors, bringing along Vegapunk and a treasure trove of knowledge. Harrow was enlightened. He built a library, opened schools, and began teaching Elbaf's children how to read and write, replacing weapons with books. This vision met fierce opposition from the Council of Elders. But Harrow stood firm. He declared, "You may oppose me marrying an outsider, but no one will stop me from spreading knowledge." Harrow explained, the world feared Elbaf and called it the land of monsters. No one believed him. And so, Harrow did the unthinkable. He broke his own horns, the very symbol of a giant's warrior pride, with his bare hands. Blood streamed down his face. The council was stunned. Gerald, the oldest living warrior in the world, spoke up, "If my great-grandchild can grow up in peace instead of on the battlefield, then I say that's a wonderful thing." From that day forward, the council no longer interfered in political matters. 20 years ago, Shanks visited Elbaf. He sought out Gaban and asked, "Who heard my voice when I was still inside the basket?" It was the moment Shanks began to uncover the truth about his origins. 14 years ago, Harrow traveled to Mary GEOISE with the Elbaf delegation. He was the only one permitted to step onto the Holy Land's elevator. The gods kneeled before him. A servant then approached and announced, "Saint Figureland Shanks has returned." And the narrator leaves us with this closing line. These two men, Harrow and Shanks, will one day meet, and their destinies will become forever intertwined.
챕터 1156 Ends here.
Thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support our channel.
See you next time.